So we have an announcement here. Tomorrow, the Daily Wire will be releasing its very first self-produced movie, Shut In, which is a really gripping thriller about a woman who's basically set upon by her meth-addled ex-husband. And it has values that you like, but in a package that you actually want to watch. The reason I mention this is because Hollywood is completely dominated by the wild left. It is completely dominated by the radical left. If you look at the Oscar nominations, you can tell this, by the way. The Oscar nominations came out yesterday. They include The Power of the Dog, which is running away with all the awards. The reason is because it's about gay cowboys, of course. The other movie that is nominated that ought not be is Don't Look Up, which, of course, is not even a good movie, according to Rotten Tomatoes. But it does make fun of people who are, quote-unquote, global warming deniers. So that means that they're bad. So that movie is nominated for Best Picture. There is a trailer for a new series on Showtime that I think is pretty indicative of leftist Hollywood. This trailer is for a 3-part docuseries titled Everything's Gonna Be All White. You see, because it's like a pun, because it's white instead of right. You see it. The actress and comedian Amanda Seales is the host of it. It also features geniuses like Margaret Cho, Jamel Hill, and Ibram X. Kendi. Ooh, exciting stuff. So here is the trailer. We're going to break it down for you because, again, this demonstrates what Hollywood thinks of you and what it thinks of America. Here's Showtime's Everything's Gonna Be All White trailer. It says, warning, this trailer may trigger white people.
Most about white people is when they pretend like they're the victim.
Can you pause it for a second? Okay, so first of all, I hate when white people pretend. Okay, Jussie Smollett, anyone? Like anytime in here? It turns out people in a victim culture like pretending they're victims all the time. But the assumption is that if a white person says they're a victim, they must be pretending because America is inherently evil and filled with evil white people who pretended victimization, which is interesting. Here is play what the rest of what this lady has to say is even crazier.
What's also annoying is when they kill us.
It's when they kill us. So just on a proportional level, the vast majority of crime, violent crime, is intraracial, meaning white people tend to commit violent crime against white people, black people tend to commit violent crime against black people. The odds that a black person is going to be victimized, like killed by a white person, is way lower on a proportional level than the odds that a white person is going to be killed by a black person in this country. This has been true for a very long time. Okay, so this notion that white people are just sort of walking around ready to murder black people is obviously statistically untrue, but it is also the premise of an entire Showtime docuseries. So here we go. We'll continue.
What is fragile about whiteness when everything has been constructed around it?
Every part of who I am has been distorted or criminalized.
Okay, pause it right there. You know the person speaking right there? You can't see it. If you can't see it, the person speaking right there is Linda Sarsour. Every part of me has been criticized or demonized. You hang out with terrorists. You are an open anti-Semite, but she's a victim. So just to get this straight, no white person is a victim, but Linda Sarsour is a victim. Okay, let the propaganda continue.
Or criminalized.
It's really just a bunch of white lies.
White lies.
We're storming the Capitol. You're not patriots. You're ridiculous.
Well, Margaret Cho, speaking of ridiculous people, she's saying that the people who storm the Capitol are ridiculous. Now, I agree that if you storm the Capitol wearing buffalo horns, you are, in fact, ridiculous. But then the next move in this trailer is to connect those ridiculous people and white supremacy generally with President Trump. So they kept trying to say this, by the way, that January 6th was about white supremacy, and it was always a stretch. It was about a bunch of people who had been lied to and told that the election was stolen and believed that they were saving democracy by invading the Capitol building and preventing the certification of the election. They were wrong, and many of them were stupid, and many of them were criminal. But there's not, I'm sure there were white supremacists among them, but the idea that the entire thing was motivated by quote-unquote white supremacy, that this was somehow about black people, is kind of an amazing claim, but never let the facts get in the way of a good narrative. We'll get to more on this trailer in just 1 second. Now, if these people had any conscience, they would have trouble sleeping at night. And if they did, I would recommend 2 things. 1, they stop making garbage propaganda, and 2, they get a Helix Sleep mattress. Helix Sleep has a quiz. It takes just 2 minutes to complete. It matches your body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. Why would you buy a mattress made for someone else? With Helix, you're getting a mattress you know will be perfect for the way you sleep. Everybody's unique. Helix knows that. They have several different mattress models to choose from. They have soft, medium, and firm mattresses. Mattress great for cooling you down if you sleep hot. Mattress is great for spinal alignment to prevent morning aches and pains. Even that Helix Plus mattress for plus-size sleepers. Helix even has mattresses with specialized cooling technology if you and your family can't quite agree on the temperature of the thermostat. So, if you're looking for a mattress, you take the quiz, order that magical mattress that you are matched to, and the mattress comes right to your door, shipped for free. You don't need to go to a mattress store ever again. Helix is great. You don't need to take my word for it because they were awarded the #1 best overall mattress pick of 2020 by both GQ and Wired magazine. Helix has been recommended by multiple leading chiropractors and doctors of sleep medicine as a go-to solution for improving sleep. You've got a 10-year warranty. You can try it out for 100 nights risk-free. They'll even pick it up for you if you don't love it, but you will. Helix even has financing options and flexible payment plans, so a great night's sleep is never far away. I've been using my Helix sleep mattress regularly for years and years and years. It's basically the only thing that keeps me alive since my kids wake me up at all times of the morning. Just go to helixsleep.com/Ben, take their 2-minute sleep quiz. They will match you to a customized mattress that'll give you the best sleep of your life. Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders, plus 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/Ben. Okay, so back to this insane trailer from Showtime. Again, everything's going to be all white. It continues.
Ridiculous.
One of the definitions of American whiteness is ignorance.
Okay, one of the definitions of American whiteness is ignorance. Actually, no. It seems to me that the definition of ignorance is ignorance. There have been a lot of really smart American white people, as it turns out. And whiteness is not coincident with ignorance. That's just racist. If being white means that you're ignorant, then honestly, I fail to see how this doesn't turn into racism like right quick. If whiteness is ignorance, then what about educationally underperforming groups? Is that also coincident with ignorance or what? Because if it's all racial essentialism all the way down, then it's racial essentialism all the way down. Or we might, not do that racist thing this lady is doing. I also love the graphic there, which shows a bunch of white supremacists and then Trump hugging the American flag. Because it's the same thing. When Trump hugs the American flag, it is just like somebody flying the Nazi flag. Because the American flag is like the Nazi flag and Trump is a Nazi. Get it? But it's not propaganda, guys. This is just an honest look at American race.
White people, we are not your problem. You are.
Should white people today feel any responsibility for slavery?
Hell yeah.
Okay, stop right there for a second. Okay, so we are not your problem. You are your problem. We weren't saying that you're our problem. Like, I'm confused as to why you think that white people, by and large, spend inordinate amounts of time thinking about how black people are their problem. I sense the opposite. I sense that according to the Showtime documentary, people of color spend an inordinate amount of time thinking about how white people are their problem. So there's that. Also, why should white people feel guilty about slavery in which they did not participate, in which they oppose? The sins of the ancestors visited upon the great-great-great-great-grandchildren of people who did a bad thing, or alternatively, the great-great-great-great-grandchildren of people who were not living here at the time. My ancestors only came to the United States in the early 20th century, so they had nothing to do with slavery, but I'm supposed to feel guilty for slavery that even my ancestors had nothing to do with? Is that the way that this is supposed to work? Oh, and then we get into some really good stuff. Then we get into white versus black Jesus. Okay, here we go.
White Jesus or black Jesus?
Jesus was not white.
Think of geography. Ain't no way Jesus walked around with blonde hair and blue eyes.
Go back for a second. Sorry. I noticed you've created a false binary. White Jesus versus black Jesus. How about Jewish Jesus? Like Middle Eastern Jewish Jesus. Truth is, Jesus probably looked like my father-in-law, who's a Moroccan Jew. One thing that Jesus was not was African. Right? We know that because Jews of the time were not African in ethnicity. So it's not white Jesus, like Nordic Jesus versus black Jesus. But according to Showtime, it's one or the other because they're stupid. They're really dumb.
Geography. Ain't no way Jesus walked around with blonde hair and blue eyes.
White culture fears the end of the world. For us as Native people, the end of the world already happened like multiple times.
Wait, well, hold on. When white people fear the end of the world, I have a question. Doesn't everyone sort of fear the end of the world? Like that would be bad? And again, the breakdown of white people into one giant group as opposed to multiple groups, all of whom have at some time been victimized throughout history. I mean, they think the people who made this documentary are like Whoopi Goldberg. They think Jews are white people. So if we're talking about Jews, people facing the end of the world multiple times, yeah, there's that. But also, this is like, again, the idea is that if your group was uniquely victimized in America, this can now be blamed on the entire white group of humans in America. I mean, it's just racism. It's just racism straight up from Showtime. Here we go.
Symbols and monuments, these are mementos of racism.
Bring that statue down. Put up a TCBY yogurt or something. Everybody can get behind it.
Tear those statues down, because statues, yeah, and put up a yogurt store. So much humor. And this is America. What is? This dumb documentary? I hope not, because then we're trashed.
Truth has to be told about history.
From the people of color point of view. Okay, stop it right there for a second. What is the people of color point of view? It is from the POC POV. Is there only one? Do all people of color have the same point of view? Again, there's that racial essentialism all the way down from Showtime. This is Hollywood.
Make sure that these stories are told from our perspective.
There's always hope. You know what I'm saying? We don't give up.
It's about obliterating systemic and institutionalized racism.
This is a wild place, y'all. It's a wild place. I know Harriet and Frederick be up there just like, what is they gonna do?
The amount of time that they've spent reading Frederick Douglass, the people who made this documentary, I'm going to suggest is fairly low. Because you know what Frederick Douglass didn't do? Was crap all over the American flag or suggest that America was institutionally, irrevocably racist. He suggested that America was systemically racist because he had been a slave and was living in a time when slavery was still legal. But his whole point was that the American flag should stand for everyone, including him. And that America's fundamental institutions, the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution of the United States, those could be fulfilled. They were promissory notes that had to be fulfilled. But we've moved way beyond Martin Luther King or Frederick Douglass for the modern racial left. The modern racial Hollywood left is mainly about early Malcolm, and not even late Malcolm X, not racially conciliatory Malcolm X, like the opposite. We're in a battle for the culture and for our values. Like and subscribe to help keep our videos on the front line of the fight and top of your feed.